Welcome to Occupations, the podcast, where we discuss what it's like to hold specific jobs. Occupations is brought to you by lotsofmaps.com, where you fulfill your vintage map gifting needs. Visit lotsofmaps.com.
Hello and welcome to Occupations, the podcast. We have a special treat. As you can tell, there's stuff going on behind me. My name's Andy Jagalinzer, and we are at the Worcester Public Market in Worcester, Massachusetts, and we have a special guest with us, Briana Azier, and she is the owner and head treat maker at Bree's Sweet Treats. Welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me. I'm sure it's going to be a sweet conversation.
Let's talk candy. Tell me a little bit about your store.
Sure. My name is Briana Azier. I am the owner and head treat maker at Bree's Sweet Treats. And Bree's Sweet Treats, we are the #1 chocolate candy store in all of Worcester for 4 years in a row.
Wow.
I handcraft all of the candy with my original recipes. And I make candy the way that I live my life, which is big and out loud. Yeah, so we like to take a lot of classic and nostalgic flavors and candies and make them our own. We're home of the famous giant peanut butter cup.
Ooh, giant peanut butter cup. That sounds delicious. Let's start at the beginning. I know that we've talked in advance a little bit, and I know that your career doing this did not start until very late in life, but I still want to get an idea of what your education was and your, what was going through your head to eventually get you to this place. So where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in a town called Maynard, Massachusetts.
Okay. I assume you liked candy.
It's wicked funny. So a lot of people think that I love candy. I have this love affair with candy, but it really doesn't have anything to do with it. I love giving back in community service. So I grew up creating the community service club in my high school and shoveling out neighbors' lawns and raking the leaves for elderly people. And I got a community service scholarship to attend Clark University.
Very good.
Yeah.
And that brought you out to Worcester.
It did. It brought me out to Worcester, where I began my career in recruiting. So I actually have zero professional culinary experience to this day, but I do have a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in MBA, a master's in business administration. And then I went and started my recruiting career at the University of Phoenix, and I got my MBA there.
Got it. Okay. So what was your goal at that point in college? What did you think that you really kind of wanted to strive for?
So growing up, I always knew in my house it was you're going to go to college. Mm-hmm. Your choice is what you get to pursue. So I grew up watching my dad own businesses in construction and clothing stores. So it was funny enough that I always thought that I was going to be the corner office of someone else's business.
Sure.
I didn't ever even think that it would be my own business. And it's funny how that didn't correlate because my dad was an entrepreneur.
Sure.
As well. So it was really funny to now think back on that and say my whole life has been set up to be an entrepreneur. I saw my dad do it.
Well, was there any option of you working for your dad in any way?
Well, actually, yeah, because I will tell you, I may be a female, but I dragged, we were laborers for my dad.
All right.
So we would, bring him his tools. Me and my twin sister even got some roofing equipment up there.
Wow.
So we were very physical.
At what age are we talking about?
Geez, I would say 8 to 14 years old.
Okay.
And even when he owned the clothing store, we were too young to work, but we, really work. But we were hiding out in the clothes racks and helping to restock stuff, and we were there around the store, so it was fun.
I know that at that age you're not seriously looking at business, but it still rubs off on you, right?
Yeah, it's in my blood when I think back about it, and I never did. But when I got my MBA and I got my first position in recruiting, for 15 years, I learned the ins and outs of recruiting and building other people's businesses and getting customers and branding, marketing, problem overcoming. So many amazing things that really geared me up to do candy, which still blows my mind.
Well, so obviously the business degree is something that is clearly helping you at this point. I'm sure that lessons with your father probably helped in some ways too, and all the business courses probably help you go from day to day. So you say you don't have any culinary experience, and that's fine, but you do have business experience, and
Absolutely.
that's a huge part of running a business for sure. All right, so you go into recruiting. Who were you working for right out of school?
I went to work for the University of Phoenix, which is how I ended up getting my master's in business administration there.
Got it. So you were recruiting for them.
Yes, in admissions.
Okay.
In higher education, which was completely different than what I thought it was going to be from when I took the job to when I started the job. Really helped to set the trajectory for the rest of my life.
And recruiting is kind of like sales in some ways, right?
It really is. And I was privileged enough to be trained by some of the greatest salespeople in the world. And I went on to train people who have become some of the greatest in their fields.
Wow.
But sales is about relationship building. And
Right.
that's literally what it's all about. When I hire my employees, I tell them, you are not a sales associate. You are a relationship builder, and that is your title.
Right.
Build relationships, talk about the product, the sale will come. But if you're focused on the sale, you're got the wrong mindset already.
Right. And did you learn that in school, or did you think you just kind of picked that up? Or did you learn that by seeing someone do it wrong? Me personally, I get most of my learning from seeing what I perceive as someone doing something wrong and say, okay, when I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to do it this
better.
way. And again, it's all perception, but how did you learn that part of it?
So that part, I think I learned with a lot of the sales training that I went through in a lot of the years. The relationship building, the secret of the sale is knowing the person, knowing their needs, and all of that. But for me, when I started my business, when I started Bree Sweet Treats, it was about what I saw wrong in the corporate world, because there was so much wrong.
Yeah.
So making sure that when I started my business, that we were going to be completely different. The pandemic was here. So Bree Sweet Treats is born and raised out of the ashes of the pandemic. And seeing stuff go wrong is a big reason that my business is here. So the pandemic came and people were sad. And my son was 6 then, and he's very much like me. How can I help? How can I make people feel better? How can we, give to the community? So we looked at each other and we wanted to make a difference. So we were like, we can make some candy. Why not? I've got the internet. I was seeing stuff online. So we're like, all right, well, we jumped online. We found Facebook and Pinterest and whatnot. We learned how to make some basic treats. We started handing those out to friends and family for free. They were very excited, very, very excited. But they also, and they were happy, and that's what we wanted. And we thought it was over. But then they started asking, how could we get more? Now, what I say about me wanting to take something that was bad and make it good, during the pandemic, unfortunately, my 40-year-old brother died of COVID.
Oh, man.
And while I was at work, I was working from home, the world was shut down, and I messaged into my boss, and I said, my brother just passed away from COVID. And the response was, are you coming to work or not?
Oh.
2 weeks later, his mother passed away from COVID. And I messaged him again. The most unbelievable thing happened. My brother's mother has died. The response was, this is not your family. She is not covered under grievance. You do not have any time. Report to work. ...
Yikes.
Yeah. So 4 months later, I was out of the corporate world, and Bree Sweet Treats was my 100% full-time gig.
What took you so long?
Right?
Wow.
Well, exactly. But for me, it was knowing that this was definitely over, and now I need to make sure that this plan is going to come to fruition.
Yeah.
So I started getting my kitchen certified. I started going into pop-ups and saying, okay, how much of this do I have to replicate to replace that income? And making sure I could do that. So 4 months later, I was in a place where that was definitely the case, and I quit. I left.
Great. That must have been a happy day.
It was incredible.
Scary, but happy.
Very scary, very incredible, but also with the full notion that Bree Sweet Treats was going to be nothing like the corporate world. That if it was my business, I was going to run it how I saw fit. That family was going to come first. That my employees were going to love me so much that if the world tried to kick me out of my job like the market basket guy, that my employees would be like, no way.
Yeah.
That is company goals for me.
Right.
And I want a business employees filled with family. I guarantee you go ask any one of these employees out here at my retail shop or in my kitchen, they will tell you that they love me. I am their family, and I go above and beyond for them.
And that's really what a small business should be about, as far as I'm concerned, especially one that, you're starting from scratch and it's very small. If you go in as a tyrant, who's going to work for you and who's going to want to buy your product? So you certainly learned a good lesson there. That's great.
Yeah.
So were you doing recruiting the whole time up until that point? Was that job you left that was recruiting?
15 years of professional recruiting I had under my belt, and that was the last recruiting job I ever had, and I left and started Breeze Sweet Treats.
Okay.
I tell everyone I grew this business so successfully in such a short time because I literally have been doing this my whole life, my whole professional career, but for someone else. So I just took all of those skill sets that I learned and I put them into my business.
Right. So what was your business degree? You said you got an MBA, but what was a BA in business?
So I have a bachelor's in business administration and a master's in business administration.
Got it.
The idea was that no matter what you do in this world, it is a business, period.
Yep.
And you have to learn to run the ins and outs of it, whether it's your company or someone else's. So I went as broad and general as I could, but also I felt that it was going to be the most prolific, that give me the most amount of opportunities no matter where I fell under.
So let's talk candy. First of all, what made you pick candy? You said that you and your son came up with the idea, but you had no culinary experience.
Yeah.
So why did you thrust yourself into a culinary situation?
So I had no culinary experience, but I was the fun mom. So my son, we would like bake cakes and cookies and do fun stuff and, do finger painting and all just kinds of crazy stuff. So baking, like having fun in the kitchen was something that we did together. I had never done chocolate, but it was something that I was seeing online. And it looked fairly easy, but it's not. But it did look fairly easy.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? We can do this. Who doesn't like food? I love food.
Sure.
It's like I'm a foodie at heart. People are like, where are you going for vacation? I'm like, I just want to eat all the days. I can stay home and just eat something awesome every single day. That's vacation for me. So food is just a natural part of what makes me happy. So I was like, okay, we can make this candy. That's sweet. So my son and I, we just jumped online to Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and started learning how to make some basic candy because it was also around the holidays.
Right.
So it was just, it made sense to make like a little treat box and to go and hand them out.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it was really just kind of in line with something I liked doing with my son, just to have a great relationship with him.
Obviously, there were different stages of the pandemic. We were at a stage where we didn't ever go anywhere near each other. Then we thought all the surfaces of everything have this on it, so I'm not going to even touch anything that someone else has touched. At what point were you in the pandemic when you started handing these things out? Were people starting to open up and realizing that it was really passed by I
didn't start my business till June of 2021. The pandemic, I don't think it really left us till the end of 22, right? Something like that.
So people were willing to take something that you had made and touched and eat it at that point. They weren't afraid of exposing themselves?
So they were, but also at the same time, that means I had to pivot, which means every single thing that I was making got pre-packaged. So we had to, that increased our cost. That increased everything in terms of how do we make this? How do we make it legally, right? Because I'm making food. There are legal steps, regulations. My kitchen gets inspected 6 times a year between the state, because I'm wholesale licensed, in my city.
Wow.
So all kinds of things had to happen, which also affected our costs. But where it really benefited me was my story is that I'm a part of this community.
Right.
We give a portion of our profits every single month to local nonprofits and community organizations.
Wow, wonderful.
I've been in Worcester since 2001. I've always made it a point to be a part of the community, to give back to the community. It's just who I am. Little did I know that when I started my business, it was going to be an amazing foundation already to be a part of the community and have all of these people and networks and connections. So for me, had I not been a part of the community, had I not had all of these connections, it would have been a scary time and a scary place.
Yeah.
Who's going to trust me?
Right.
Who's going to come to me? Who knows that? You know what I mean?
Right.
So the relationships I built before I started my business really helped to sustain my business and grow my business because, like you said, we started during the pandemic.
Well, clearly your personality plays a big role in this. As far as, first of all, making connections. Because if you weren't a nice person, you probably wouldn't have many connections. And then who would want to do business with you in the first place? So that certainly pays off. And then again, like the trust part of it too. So kudos for you for being nice. I know that's probably just who you are, but
it's a deep part of who I am, and actually it's a call out. I know college students and high school students are going to hear this. Everybody in the world needs to read a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It made my life make sense to me because it is about how kindness, positivity, smiling, happiness can literally change the world. Kindness has stopped wars. A smile, people have told me, your smile, your random compliment, like literally, I've had 5 people in my life message me, find me, hunt me down and say, I know you don't know me, but your compliment prevented me from taking my own life today.
Wow.
You literally don't know what anyone is going through.
Wow.
I go out of my way and make it a point to lift people up. It's part of who I am. It makes me feel better when I make other people feel better. When I'm at my worst, I want to help people because that makes me feel best.
That's great. Well, can we clone you? Is there any way we can clone you at this point?
Are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready. I know you are a twin.
I already took care of that because I have a twin and she's just as awesome as me.
Oh, how great.
Yes.
All right. So we're off to a good start. Now we'll clone both of you and we'll come up with 4 and so on and so on. All right. I like it. It's a good thing. All right. So you're cooking out of your kitchen at that point. Mm-hmm. So you had to buy some supplies, I assume.
Yes.
What kind of supplies did you have to buy right off the bat?
The greatest thing about getting into candy, right? Like, I hope people are hearing me. I didn't have professional experience. I didn't have professional equipment. I didn't have professional anything. I had a love, a want, a computer to research things, and time to figure it out. So getting into candy was very low cost. We still have 0 debt to this day.
Wow.
I'm 100% bootstrapped, and last year we revenued over $350,000.
Wow.
On 0 debt.
Holy cow.
That's revenue, not profit, but still, that's amazing. So to get into candy, I bought chocolate. I bought some bowls, some food-safe bowls to microwave chocolate in. I bought some basic molds. Mm-hmm. When I first started, it was really thick Oreos. Okay. Really, really thick Oreos out of silicone molds. They were so thick. It's hilarious.
With the cookie and everything?
Yep, I made them. So, bought the molds, melted the chocolate, learned how to temper it, and then worked with compound chocolate and couverture chocolate. I don't recommend couverture chocolate. It is crazy. It's a whole science thing. It is not for the faint of heart. Oh. God bless the chocolatiers out there. We need help.
Okay.
So I melted the chocolate. I bought the molds. I started out with a few molds. I started making very few recipes, very few things. I started coming up with like barks. A bark is like just a chocolate with mix-ins. Yep. Super simple stuff I like to eat. So it started off with a dipped Oreo, which we now call Brie Witches, because I don't want to get sued.
Nice.
They are Brie Witches made with real Oreos. And then we are home of the famous giant peanut butter cup. I perfected that recipe over a year. I changed it. My peanut butter cup first started for the OG fans, the first timers. They know that my peanut butter cup had a binder in it.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, just like Reese's.
Okay.
Right? And then I had to think, Jesus, Briana, you have your MBA. There's one thing that you know. You cannot beat your competition by being your competition. Mm-hmm. So Reese's was small. They had the binder. I was like, I'm going to go big and I'm going to go fully creamy. And I'm going to make sure that this is like blow your mind amazing. So now I have this amazing, famous peanut butter cup that has its own national news segment. You can look it up on WBZ News. It's called It Happens Here, Leicester. Levin Reed came to my kitchen. We made my peanut butter cups together. But if you're looking for a visual size, they weigh almost 1/4 pound each.
Oh,
And they are the size of a standard cupcake, just cut off that risen top.
wow.
That's the size of all of my famous giant cups.
Woo.
And it started with the peanut butter. And we make our own peanut butter concoction.
Wow.
The peanut butter, and we mix in, and we make it what we want it. And it's incredible. I have had 0 people taste my peanut butter cup and tell me it's not the best peanut butter cup they've ever had.
Whoa. All right, look out, Reese's. She's on your tail.
Yeah, I am. And one day they're going to want to buy me out, and I'm going to tell them no because I'm creating generational wealth for my family.
So the dreaming continues. You're seeing ahead that you're kind of seeing this conversation between you and Reese's happening already.
In the future, within the next 10 years, they're going to reach out to me.
All right.
Sure.
I love it.
I have no doubt about it.
Okay. Mark your calendars. It's going to happen.
You heard it here first.
I love it.
I'm a confident woman.
Yes, you are.
We've been featured on Phantom Gourmet.
Wow.
We have won the Worcester Business Journal Best of Business Awards for the last 3 years in a row. We have won the Telegram and Gazette Community Choice Awards for Central Massachusetts. We have been nominated and in the finals since 2022. We have won it 2023, 2024, and I was just notified that I'm in the running again for 2025.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the work that you put into this. Now, you probably have good days and bad days like everybody.
Yes.
Did you ever, at that time in the early stages, ever say to yourself, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? You're a very positive person, but there must have been a little doubt in there somewhere, right?
Well, no doubt. None whatsoever.
Wow.
Why? Because the 4 hearts on my logo are very strategic. Bree Sweet Treats is based on the foundation of faith, family, community, and friends. And because I'm very faithful and I know what God brought me to, and I have laid all the foundation for this, I'm very confident in knowing my why, right? So I don't question it. And as an entrepreneur, if you don't have a why, what keeps you motivated, what keeps you in business, what keeps you knowing that you can't quit, then you're never going to be successful. So my why is so very strong. I have to make $1 million to give $1 million. Bree Sweet Treats was sent here to change the world, to leave this world in a better place.
Sweeter place, too.
Exactly, a sweeter place, to affect the community. People are going to say Bree Sweet Treats have made amazing candy because that's what we do. But well before they say that, you ask anybody around here, they say Bree is a part of the community. Bree gives back. Bree cares. There's not a single nonprofit or community organization out here that I haven't partnered with, that I don't do fundraisers with, that I don't reach out to and say, hey, how can we help? My town does not have a community center in Leicester, Massachusetts. As long as I'm living in Leicester, Massachusetts, before I pass away, there will be a community center there.
Okay.
That's the type of change that I'm trying to make. And the change for generational wealth for my family, for them to continue to be able to give back. My goal is philanthropy.
Right.
That's where my heart is. Candy and chocolate is just going to be the way that I'm able to bless and make a change.
Terrific. I believe you when you say you have no doubts. I believe that. I really do.
Doubts and failures, right? Some people think about that. When you're an entrepreneur, I think too many people think about failure. And I want to say loud and clear, there's no failing when you're an entrepreneur. There are only opportunities to learn and to learn from and to figure out what not to do again or how to do something a better way. Failing, that doesn't happen. We learn.
Yep.
We learn, we take hits, we hit obstacles, there's road bumps, we get over them, we look forward to the future. So I think a lot of people ask people about obstacles and then they say that word failure, even though you didn't. It's just something that pops into my head because people say it so much.
Yeah.
And I just want anybody out there who is considering working for themselves to know that you're never failing. If you're doing it, if you're trying, if you're learning it, if you're experiencing setbacks, you're doing the damn thing.
All right. So let's take an example. You must have had a time where a recipe did not come out the way you wanted it to come out. And All right, so let's quote unquote call that a failure. I know
Okay.
you don't. You just usually say, okay, well, I need to make adjustments, but let's call that a failure. So how do you handle that?
So when I wanted to start making a bark, I wanted to do a play on s'mores bark, marshmallow, graham crackers, and whatnot. So I first started with graham crackers and crushing them up and all of that and whatnot. And I didn't like it at all. And I thought, okay, though this isn't good. This is not what I'm looking for. And some people would have thought, well, we failed on that recipe. We did not fail on that recipe. When I tasted it, I found out what we were missing, all the reasons why I didn't want to go with this product, and thought, how can we make it better? Enter our S'mores bark. So we replaced that graham cracker with Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be broken down. It already has the sweetness, a cinnamon sugar layer added to it. All I have to do now is add those mini marshmallows. It's weighable, it's consistent, it has the same exact structure every time, and it took away a lot of the uncertainties, a lot of the prep work, a lot of everything, and made a new product that is super nostalgic now. Not only is it amazing, but you hear that I have a bark and it's made with one of your favorite cereals that you had growing up and your kid's favorite now. You want that. You want to try that. You want to know what it's about.
Sure.
Also in packaging. One of the most famous stories about overcoming failure is a perfume. There was a perfume, and the perfume went into a regular drugstore, and it was sold for they wanted to sell it for like $10 a bottle. It was a great smelling perfume. It was amazing. They thought they were going to crush it. And they didn't. They didn't sell much at all. They took that same perfume, that same scent. They put it in a $30 bottle, changed the bottle, and that perfume sold out every single time. It became their most amazing sellout. Don't look at something as a failure. How can we change this? How can we pivot? So my peanut butter cups, for example, when we first started making them, because they were so big and so thick, the weight of the next peanut butter cup on top of it would crush it.
Oh, man.
Right? Which led to me changing my recipe and making the shell thicker. Right?
All right.
And again, they're not failures. They're setbacks. They're learning opportunities. They're things to make our mind think differently and keep moving ahead.
Very good. Very good. Well, and not everybody has the optimism that you have, clearly. I wish they did. I wish we did. But not everybody has that. But it's a good lesson in life to always take a negative and try to make it into a positive, for sure. That's great.
Lotsofmaps.com. Vintage, local, national, and world maps for an affordable price. 99% of our maps are $25 or less. Great as gifts. Frame them or put them under glass for your home, vacation home, or as a memory of a special place. Lotsofmaps.com.
So you left your job, a nice secure job that you weren't happy with, clearly, but it was income, and it was steady, which was important, especially with a young family, to go to a thing that had no income right off the bat. At what point did you start to turn a profit? Do you know that the answer to that, and where it actually said to you, okay, this is now a job, it's no longer a hobby, we're actually making some money, potentially?
So, that's a crazy question for an entrepreneur, because I literally didn't get my first paycheck, my first payroll paycheck, until January of this year.
Okay.
Literally. That doesn't mean that we weren't making money.
Right.
I was taking owner draws before that. But so I would say about a year and a half in, my husband, in March of 23, my husband, we were making enough money to where I sat down with my husband and I said, we're at the tipping point. You do so much for us here when you're not at work, but then you're working for the business here.
Right.
I've goaled this. I'm the financier of the family. I said, I've goaled this. I know where we are. I know we can do this. If we can sustain X, which I have already figured out we can, I don't want to hire someone else to come run this business. It's you. So I told my husband, it's time for you to come home.
Wow.
So he, on his birthday in 2023, left his job of 11 years as a custom machinist and came home to run Bree Sweet Treats, and he is my operations and kitchens manager.
Fantastic.
We are a business literally 100% dependent on Bree's Sweet Treats, 100% full entrepreneurs.
And so that's a year and a half into it?
Yep.
Wow, that is quick. That's not only did you, I don't want to say lose your income, but your husband has now walked away from his income.
Yep.
Wow, that's a great, and like you said, you had no debt. And that's vital, right, in playing that role. Because if you had debt, you wouldn't have been able to do something like that, I assume.
No.
Yeah, okay. So you chose a business that didn't cost a lot up front. Because you could do some of it in your home. You were doing pop-ups, so it probably didn't cost you a ton of money to do that either. So that's a big part of it. Certainly,
Low overhead.
yeah, if you were to, be a computer company, you got to have a lot of money, set away or whatever, and start to get some loans and such. But you were able to figure out that that's a pretty quick, easy, and cheap way to start a business. That's key. So at that point, when your husband joined, you had, were you still doing pop-ups at that point?
So, no, he joined right after we opened up our first retail location. So I opened up in January of 23 at the Worcester Public Market.
Okay.
And it was kind of historical what happened there, too, because you kind of just have to, apply here if there's an opening. The manager told me at that time, they didn't really seek people out. But I had been doing pop-ups at the Worcester Public Market about a year and a half. And I was very popular, and they knew who I was, and there was a candy store already here.
Oh.
So by the graces of God, they allowed me to do a pop-up with my candy when there was a candy store here. But I can remember doing my last pop-up all the way in the corner, right by the director's office, and then I got a call a couple days later and said, "Hey, Bree, this is Dominic from the Worcester Public Market." I was like, "Hey, Dom," he said, "we just got news, our candy store is leaving. And we don't want anyone else but you.
Wow.
Please, will you come? We're inviting you to lease the store. We would love for you to be a permanent part of the Worcester Public Market family."
How nice.
Yeah.
So no controversy happening here. It's all good news for you, which is really
all meant
wonderful.
For me. Well, I'm sweet as pie. I'm a bridge builder. Even if I can sense things, turbulence, I want to get ahead of it. I want to give you free candy. I want to tell you how pretty you are. I'm a sweet, sweet woman, and kindness changes everything.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how much of that is led to my success.
Sure. Tell me how pretty I am.
Oh, you're so pretty. Those eyes.
You don't lie. Yeah, you are. Well, you do lie, obviously there, but you don't lie that you do tell people how pretty they are, even if they're not. Clearly. The thing about it is I'm authentic. People will, and that's the thing, authentic is important. People will smell your BS a mile away. Yep.
If you're just you're not honest about it, but I am, because that's who I am. I want to find something that I like about you so I can tell you, so that maybe your day gets brighter, so that you build your confidence, so that you smile. I want that for everybody, and I have the choice and the option to do it. So I do it.
Yep. Well, again, it's obviously a wonderful trait as a human being, first of all, but certainly it doesn't hurt to have that in business, too, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about the pop-ups. Okay. So your first idea of selling at this point, or had you been selling prior to the pop-up idea? Were you selling door-to-door and things like that, too?
I started selling on my town Facebook.
Okay.
I got my kitchen permitted, and then I posted, I think during Easter or something, I don't even remember, but I started selling here and there. My first real pop-up, get this is how inexperienced I was, but I just had the passion, the motivation, the determination to do it. My first pop-up was outside in July.
Ooh.
I think it was July 21st. And it was 100 degrees out. I did 2 pop-ups. I went from the CC Lowell's right here on Park Ave, from their pop-up to the Abby Koto concert in 100-degree weather. Though I had ice I had chocolate on ice. It was floating. It was insane. I had zero idea what I was doing, but I was like, I'm going to get out here. I'm going to do it.
So what do you bring with you? Oh, at that time, did you have a tent at least?
I had a tent.
Okay, so
but
that's
I had a table.
Yeah.
I had buckets of ice. I had 100 different kinds of candy bars. When I first started, I made 17 million different types of candy bars, and I thought I'm going to bring all those candy bars with me.
Yeah.
So I had 20 different candy bars.
Wow.
It was insane. I had my peanut butter cups. I dipped Oreos, my Brie Witches, and pretzels probably, and that's probably what I started with. But it was melting. It was floating. It was ridiculous. I was just out there, army of one. We're going to do it.
So how did you do?
I mean, I did well enough.
Okay.
We had a lot of waste, but I was very well prepared, so we sold a lot also.
Yep.
It just motivated me to do better and want to do more. And I got into all these Facebook groups, and I started researching. And to mine, the system that I came up with to this day that's been treating me very well for the last 2.5 years, I created it.
Great.
I created it, and it works amazing. I can keep my chocolate cold 24 hours in 100-degree weather easily.
Wow.
And when people come, and other sweet makers come and they're struggling, I take them by the hand, and I walk them to the back of my tent. I say, you're going to order this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and it's going to change your life.
Huh.
And people are so excited. It's guarded. It's a very guarded industry. People don't want to help people.
Right.
I'm a super helper.
Yep.
So I found all the information I could, all the resources I could, and I give it to everybody. Because we can all eat at the same time in the same place.
Right.
Literally, look at the bread aisle.
Right.
Nobody's out there like, this bread's next to my bread. They're all selling. That's my
true.
mindset.
That's true.
And that's a winning mindset. A collaboration is king.
Absolutely. All right. So you have your first couple of pop-ups. You're learning a whole bunch. When you finally perfected the pop-up, what were you bringing with you as far as inventory and equipment, and as far as and I'm sure it depended on where you were setting up and how big a crowd you were dealing with, but give me an idea of what you had to bring.
You gotta find us under that purple tent.
Yeah.
So one of our things is we own the color purple. Everybody who thinks of Bree Sweet Treats thinks of purple. You gotta find us under that purple tent. We got so popular under the purple tent, I had vendors coming up to me going, I have to change my purple tent. I go, why? Because when people walk by us, they go, ugh, you're not Bree Sweet Treats. So first of all, branding is super important. Everything purple. But now I have my standards. I have standards that people they know that they're going to find when they come to me. It's our famous giant peanut butter cup, our Brie Mix cup with 1 ounce of caramel topped with graham cracker, our dark s'mores cup, our nutty fluffy cup, which is peanut butter and fluff, our 2-pack of Brie Witches, which is our dipped Oreos. We have a 3-pack of dipped pretzel rods. We bring our freeze-dried candy. Our freeze-dried candy has been featured on Phantom Gourmet.
Nice.
And we bring our barks. And now with the Dubai bar craze, we've been bringing our Dubai bars. We sold out of over 300 half-pound Dubai bars at the Connecticut Pickle Festival last weekend.
Connecticut Pickle Festival?
I do everything.
That's amazing.
I do everything. I do probably 200 events a year.
Chocolate-covered pickle?
We did dill pickle chip bark, which was chocolate-covered Lay's dill chips. We did dill pickle freeze-dried candy and dill pickle dip pretzels.
Wow. All right, so you specially made those for the Pickle Fest, I assume?
Oh, we specialize. Yeah. So we customize candy for weddings, for graduations. We do branded treats for businesses. That's a huge portion of our business.
Yeah.
100% full color edible imagery on candy. It's a big part of us. And we make candy for other stores. So right now, I make the duck candy inside the sugar factory at Foxwoods Casino. That's my candy. I made it.
Wow.
I created it.
Wow. Fantastic. Well, all right. So you've got your husband on board. That wasn't enough for you, though, family-wise, was it?
No.
Tell me more.
My son is my chief tasting officer, and it's a job, and we take it very seriously.
Sure.
He tells us about things he likes and doesn't like. He creates new flavors and new products. He helps set up and break down. He is a Bree Sweet Treats employee. My 2 sisters work for me. My niece works for me. My mom, as soon as I can bring another full-time employee on, I will take my mom from the corporate world that she is in. She is the manager of the largest Starbucks, the busiest Starbucks in the state at the TD Bank North. She manages that, and I can't wait to take her home and treat her the way she needs to be treated and loved, and a decent schedule. And, I can't wait.
That's a shot at you, Starbucks.
Family business. Treat my mama better. I'm going to steal her from you.
I love it. So truly a family business. You obviously have some employees at your shops that are not your family, but in a sense they are your family, because you did say everybody is family that works for you, right?
So much so, actually, I had one of my young employees go on vacation, and he bought me a gift on vacation.
Aww.
And his mom dropped me off cookies before they left. Like, if that's not family, I don't know what is.
Wow.
I take care of them, though. They literally know if they need anything that they can ask me. Anything at all. There's nothing that they can't ask. If I can get it to them, I will. If I can't, I will find some way to help them.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Let's go back to your son for a second. So he is 11 now?
Yes, he just turned 11 last week.
Okay, so let's talk about the lessons that he's learned since the age of 6.
Yes.
In this business. You've obviously seen him learn and change potentially as far as how he interacts with you, not just in the tasting. I'm sure he's got to be curious about sales and all the other things, right? So tell me what he's learning that you're really proud that he's learning.
So
from this experience.
The thing I'm most proud about is my son's big heart. He is a giver, just like me. He wants to give everything to everyone, any cause, any person less fortunate on the side of the road. I have to drive around with a $5 bill. If he sees them, he's like, Mom, that's who we're going to give it to. And if I don't, he cries. One time I won $1,000 on a scratch ticket, and he made an announcement in the store. Can you believe my mom just won this $1,000 and she did not give it to people who need it? Yeah, that was him. He knows his products. He knows his prices and his sales. He has actually run by himself and the children business fair and run it himself. The sales, the point of sale system, and everything.
Yep.
But honestly, at this point, he's more excited to attend the events because he's old enough and have fun and has a little bit of independence than he is to participate and help break down and set up and stuff like that. But that's okay, because in a few years, 4 or 5 years, he'll be right out working with us and whatnot. I'm very, very particular. I don't want him to hate it.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm very particular about what I make him do and don't make him do.
Right.
Because there's a time and place for everything. He's still a child.
Yes.
So when he turns 15, 16 years old, and he'll be working.
Yep.
Really, really working,
And depending on what he ends up doing, he's still got to be taking amazing lessons away from this experience that he's going to use somewhere in his career at some point, right?
He knows about kindness. He knows about being a community person and a helper. He's got my heart.
So tell me a little bit about your location here at the Worcester Public Market. When did you open it, and how exciting was that?
So we opened January of 23, and it was an exciting time. I literally had said before that, it was part of my business plan, I will never have a brick and mortar. But this has its own. This is so different, right? It's in the middle of this market. It has its own customers as well. It was really great. It wasn't this huge thing that I had to invest a kitchen into as well. So this really just worked out incredibly. And it really made us more legit. We had already been in the finals for Best of Central Mass Chocolatier Candy Store as a pop-up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we got our retail store, it just made it even more definite, more finite.
Yep.
Like we have arrived.
Right. And did your sales go up because you had a brick and mortar, do you think? Because now I assume you continued to do pop-ups at that point.
Sales, yeah. Sales in general, because we were creating revenue here, but You have to consider employees and
Right.
rent and things like that. And in the summer, it's tough for any candy store. It's tough, which is why we go out and get our own money, which is why we do all these big fairs and festivals, why we have the second location at the DCU Center. Because if I just let my money come to me here, we would not be nearly as successful. I'm a motivator. I'm a hustler. I go out and I get my money. I make myself make my money.
Right. Well, and you were talking earlier about how you had no debt at that point. You brought your husband on at that point, and now you're throwing rent and employees into the fire, into the mix. So that's, you must have sat down with a calculator to try to figure that whole thing out. That was a little risky, I would assume.
Much riskier, much scarier. You know, you've got to make more than, you know, because you've got to account for the cost of goods, for the packaging, for the material, for the labor, for the people here selling your candy, all of that stuff. So it was very, very scary. And even now, I'm up to 20 part-time employees.
Wow.
20 part-time employees who work between my locations, my festivals, my fairs. I have three full-time employees, myself, my husband, my full-time maker. It's great.
Do you do any mail order?
We have e-commerce. You can go to www.shopbreezesweettreats.com.
Okay.
You got the 2 S's, the 2 E's, the 2 T's. We do ship. And if you use code FIRST, you'll get 15% off your first online order.
Whoa, I'm there. Do you have a website?
Yep, same thing. It's shopbreezesweettreats.com. You're going to have the shop and Bree, B-R-I-S, and then sweettreats.com.
That's great. Okay. So you're selling in a lot of different areas.
Yes, we are.
So you're in e-commerce sort of runs itself, obviously, at that point, but you could be selling round the clock, potentially, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, we're really focusing on increasing our e-commerce. You know, like I said, it's important to scale in order. So we're really focused on increasing our e-commerce. We just won a nationwide Amazon business grant. It's just still like pinch me, I'm dreaming.
Wow.
So with that money, we're upgrading our packaging to professional digitally printed packaging.
Wow, fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right, I got a 5-year question. Where are you in 5 years? How big is this company?
Bree Sweet Treats Candy Mansion. That's the goal. In 5 years, we will have a manufacturing facility that also has plenty of land and space because we want to host community events and host the community. We want to have making classes, a space to see making happening. So our own version of what the Hebert Candy Mansion used to be, bringing back that nostalgia and keeping it.
Wonderful. All right, so I just got to ask you one more question. What kind of advice would you have for someone who wanted to pursue maybe candy making or even just a small business where maybe you don't have the debt right off the bat and sort of do it the way you're doing it? What kind of advice would you have for someone like that?
You can do it. Reach out to your local Board of Health and see if you're able to do this in your home or if you have to do it through Commissary Kitchen. Because the best advice I could tell you is don't do it illegally. Too many illegal food businesses out here making money out of their kitchens and they're not permitted. What you risk the public and what you risk getting sued and losing everything, it is not worth it at all. So go down to your local Board of Health, tell them what you want to do, they will help you to do it. And you don't need professional culinary experience. You just need the passion and will to want to do it. And you can learn things slowly along the way.
Now, you did this with a business degree with a lot of experience. Would you suggest going into something like that without having the business experience? Or do you really think that they've got to get it from somewhere, whether it's school or whether it's experience? And
running a business is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
I mean, and I got a lot of studies and a lot of education in that area. Can you do it without it? Absolutely. But you're starting at a different point. So I would say in that case, get to like free programs like E for All, Entrepreneurs for All. It was a big part of my success. Go to different, like your Worcester, like the chamber in your area, the economic development plans. We have the Center for Women in Enterprise here in Central Mass and throughout the state. So there's plenty of places that will help you as long as you're willing to put in the time and energy and effort.
Very good, very good.
Don't do it alone.
Breeze Sweet Treats, shop breezesweettreats.com.
Yes.
And that's where you can find her. Or you can go to the Worcester Public Market or the DCU Center or in Foxwoods. Where is that in Foxwoods?
So we make the candy for the Sugar Factory inside Foxwoods Casino.
There you go.
We're a wholesale licensed store, though, so also if you're ever sleeping or staying at the AC Marriott Hotel, they sell our candy as well in their little nook.
All right. Fantastic. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for giving us your experience and your stories as you go, and good luck for the future.
Thanks for having me. I hope the rest of your day is sweet.
Thank you. You too.
Occupations has been brought to you by lotsofmaps.com. Please follow Occupations the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to find information about our next episode or to see what past episodes are available.